Good day to every one of you. Let's continue with our topic, which is topic number 9, which we are going to discuss on the motivation and empowerment. Okay, the leader as a relationship builder. Now, motivation, it refers to the forces that drive a person to act. These forces can be internal, which is coming from inside the person, such as personal goals, interest, or passion, and external, which is coming from outside, such as rewards, recognition, or encouragement. Motivation creates enthusiasm and persistence. Enthusiasm means the energy and eagerness to do something. Persistent means continuing the effort even when facing difficulties. In simple words, motivation explains why people are willing to start a task and keep going until it is completed. Leadership is closely linked to motivation because good leaders know how to encourage others, increase enthusiasm, and to help the followers stay committed to their tasks. For simple example, imagine a student preparing for final exams. For internal motivation, the student wants to graduate with good results. For external motivation, encouragement from lecturers and the promise of a scholarship. Because of these motivations, the student studies consistently and does not give up easily. This shows how motivation drives actions and persistence. This diagram shows a simple model of motivation. It explains how motivation starts, leads to action, and is reinforced. The model has 4 main parts. Step number one is needs. Everything starts with needs. Needs create a desire to fulfill something important, such as money, friendship, recognition, and achievement. In simple words, people are motivated because they want something. Number 2 is the behavior. Next, needs lead to behavior. Behavior refers to the actions people take to fulfill their needs. In simple words, people act to satisfy their needs. Step number 3 is the rewards. After the action, people receive rewards. Rewards can be intrinsic, means satisfaction, pride, and enjoyment. It can also be extrinsic, which is salary, grades, praise, and promotion. Rewards help satisfy the original needs. Step number 4 is the feedback. Finally, feedback occurs. The reward tells the person whether the behavior was effective, appropriate, or worth repeating. If the reward is positive, the person is more likely to repeat the behavior. In simple words, feedback helps people decide what actions to repeat in the future. I give you an example. Imagine a student. First, we look at the needs. The student wants a good grade. That is the achievement. Next, the behavior. So, the student studied hard and attends lectures without fail. Next step, the reward. Because of he studied very hard and attends all lecture, the student gets high marks and praise from his teacher. The last step, which is the feedback. Student knows studying works, so he continued the habit. This shows how needs, behavior, rewards, and feedback form a continuous motivation cycle. Now we discuss intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. And intrinsic rewards are internal satisfaction a person feels while doing a task. These rewards come from inside the individual, not from other people. Examples include feeling proud of your work, enjoyment, and personal satisfaction. In simple words, you feel good because of what you did. Extrinsic rewards. Extrinsic rewards are rewards given by other people, usually by superior or organization. Examples include salary increase, bonuses, promotion, and praise. In simple words, you receive something from others as a reward. Next, system-wide rewards. System-wide rewards apply equally to everyone in an organization or department. Examples include annual bonus for all staff, company-wide recognition. In simple words, everyone gets the same reward. Individual rewards. Individual rewards differ from one person to another based on performance or contribution. Examples include Best Employee Award, Performance-Based Promotion. In simple words, reward depends on individual effort or results. This slide shows examples of intrinsic and extrinsic rewards, divided into individual and system-wide categories. Extrinsic rewards are rewards that come from outside the individual. Individual extrinsic rewards are like large merit increase. This means the person receives a higher salary or financial reward based on personal performance. Under system-wide extrinsic reward, we have the insurance benefits. This type of reward is given equally to all employees within the organization. In simple words, extrinsic rewards are tangible rewards provided by the organization. Next is the intrinsic rewards. Intrinsic rewards come from the inside of the individual. Individual intrinsic reward, you have feeling of self-fulfillment. This refers to personal satisfaction and pride in doing meaningful work. Next is on the system-wide intrinsic reward. Pride in being part of a winning organization. This is the internal satisfaction employees feel when they belong to a successful organization. In simple words, intrinsic rewards are emotional and psychological reward. So the key point for you to understand here is that extrinsic rewards motivate through external benefits. Intrinsic rewards motivate through personal satisfaction. And both types can be individual-based or system-wide. Effective leaders use both intrinsic and extrinsic rewards to motivate people. This diagram shows Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which explains what motivates people, starting from basic needs to higher level needs. The needs are arranged in 5 levels, from the most basic to the highest. Level 1, psychological needs. These are basic survival needs such as food, water, air, shelter, and basic salary. If these needs are not met, people cannot focus on anything else. Level 2, safety needs. This level focuses on security and stability, such as safe working environment, job security, fringe benefits, and freedom from fear or threats. People want to feel safe and secure. Level 3, belongingness needs. These needs involve relationships and social connection, such as friendship, acceptance, being part of a group, and good relationship with coworkers and supervisors. Here, people want to belong and feel accepted. Level 4, esteem needs. Esteem needs relate to self-respect and recognition, such as respect from others, recognitions and appreciation, responsibility, status, and credits for contributions. Here, people want to feel valued and confident. The last one, level 5, self-actualization. This is the highest level of need. It focuses on self-fulfillment, personal growth, reaching full potential, and autonomy and opportunity. People want to become the best version of themselves. So the key idea here is that lower level needs must generally be met before higher level needs become strong motivators. These slides explain Herzberg's two-factor theory, which describes what causes satisfaction and dissatisfactions at work. According to Herzberg, there are 2 different sets of factors. Number 1, motivators. Number 2, hygiene factors. These 2 factors affect people in different ways. Let's look at motivators, factors that create satisfaction. Motivators influence the level of satisfaction. They are related to the work itself and personal growth. Examples of motivators include achievement, recognition, responsibility, the work itself, and personal growth. When these factors are present, people feel highly satisfied and motivated. However, when they are absent, people may feel neutral but not necessarily dissatisfied. In simple words, we say motivators make people love their work. Number 2, hygiene factor, factors that prevent dissatisfaction. Hygiene factors influence the level of dissatisfaction, not satisfaction. They are related to the work environment. Examples of hygiene factors include working conditions, pay and job security, company policies, supervisors, and interpersonal relationship. If these factors are poor, employees feel highly dissatisfied. If they are good, employees feel not dissatisfied, but not strongly motivated either. In simple words, hygiene factors stop people from being unhappy, but do not motivate them. So the key idea here is that motivators equals to satisfaction. Hygiene factors equals to dissatisfaction. So, by improving hygiene factors alone does not increase motivation. To motivate people, leaders must focus on motivators. Now we look at acquired needs theory, developed by David McClelland in the 1960s. This theory explains that certain needs are not inborn, but are learned and developed over time through life experiences, culture, and education. According to McClelland, there are three main acquired needs. Number one, need for achievement. This is the desire to perform well, achieve goals, solve problems, and excel in tasks. People with a high need for achievement prefer challenging but achievable goals. Number two, need for affiliation or relationship. This is the desire to build relationship and friendship by be accepted by other people and maintain good relationship. People with a high need for affiliation value teamwork, cooperation, and harmony. Number three, need for power. This is the desire to influence others, lead, and have control or authority. People with a high need for power like to guide, direct, and make decisions. So the key idea is that everyone has all three needs, but one or two needs are usually stronger than the others. These dominant needs influence work behavior and motivation. This slide further explains McClelland's acquired needs theory. The theory states that people develop certain needs over time based on life experiences, culture, and learning. These needs influence motivation, behavior, and performance. There are three main acquired needs. Number one, need for achievement. The need for achievement is the desire to accomplish difficult tasks, to achieve high standards of success, to master complex skills, and to perform better than others. People with strong need for achievement prefer challenging tasks like personal responsibility and are motivated by success and results. In simple words, they want to do difficult things well. Number two, need for affiliation. The need for affiliation is the desire to form close personal relationships, be accepted by others, avoid conflict, and build warm friendships. People with high need for affiliation enjoy teamwork, value harmony, and prefer cooperation rather than competition. In simple words, we can say they want good relationships and acceptance. Number three, need for power. The need for power is the desire to influence or control others, lead people, and be responsible for others. People with a strong need for power, they like leadership roles, they enjoy decision-making, and want to guide or direct others. In simple words, they want influence and responsibility. The key point for you to remember here is that everyone has all three needs, but one need is usually stronger. That dominant need affects how a person behaves and what motivates them. These slides explain the reinforcement perspective on motivation, commonly known as the carrot and stick approach. This approach is an effective form of extrinsic motivation, meaning motivation comes from external rewards or consequences. The carrot represents a reward for good behavior. Rewards can include praise, bonus, promotion, and good grades. The purpose of the carrot is to encourage and repeat positive behavior. In simple words, do well and you'll get rewarded. The stick represents a negative consequence for poor behavior. Examples include warning, penalty, pay cut, and poor grade. The purpose of the stick is to discourage negative behavior. In simple words, if you do badly, then there is a consequences. The key idea is that people are motivated to repeat behaviors that bring rewards and avoid behaviors that bring punishments. Leaders use this approach to control and shape behavior, especially when quick results are needed. Now we will discuss on the expectancy theory. The expectancy theory explains that motivation depends on what a person believes. Specifically, motivation is influenced by a person's mental expectations about two things. Number one, their ability to perform a task, and number two, their ability to receive desired rewards after performing the task. In simple words, people ask themselves, can I do this task well? Or if I do it well, will I get the reward I want? If the answer to both questions is yes, motivations will be high. If the answer is no, motivation will be low. So expectancy theory focuses on belief, effort, performance, and reward. This slide explains the key elements of expectancy theory and how they lead to motivation. Expectancy theory states that people are motivated when they believe their effort will lead to good performance, performance will lead to rewards, and those rewards are valuable. There are three key elements. Number one, expectancy, which the effort leads to performance. This answers the question, will putting effort into the task lead to the desired performance? If a person believes they have the skills, ability, and support to perform well, expectancy is high. If not, expectancy is low. In simple words, we can say, if I try, can I do it well? Number two, instrumentality, where performance leads to outcomes. This answers the question, will good performance lead to the desired outcome or reward? If a person trusts that good performance will be rewarded, instrumentality is high. In simple words, if I perform well, will I be rewarded? Number three is valence, which is the value of outcomes. Valence refers to the value or attractiveness of the reward. Rewards can include pay, recognition, promotion, and other benefits. If the reward is important to the person, valence is high. In simple words, we can say, do I really want this reward? So the key idea here is that motivation is high only when all three are strong. Effort leads to performance. Performance leads to reward. Reward is valued. If any one element is missing, motivation will be low. Now we will discuss on the equity theory. Equity theory explains that people are motivated by fairness. It proposes that individuals compare the rewards they receive with the effort they put in, and also compare themselves with others. In simple words, people ask, am I being rewarded, treated fairly, compared to others? If people feel the rewards are fair, they are satisfied and motivated. If they feel the rewards are unfair, they may feel unhappy, demotivated, or reduce effort. So the key idea of equity theory is that people compare inputs and outcomes. Inputs are effort, time, skills, and experience. Outcomes are like salary, rewards, recognitions, and promotion. There are three possible situations: equity, under reward, and over reward. Equity are fair treatment, which leads to motivation, which will stay high. Under reward means they get less than others, which leads to dissatisfaction. Over rewards means they get more than others, which leads to possible guilt or discomfort. Motivation depends on the perceived fairness, not the actual amount. This slide explains the concept of empowerment. Empowerment refers to the power sharing in an organization. It means leaders delegate power or authority to subordinates instead of keeping all control at the top. When people are empowered, they are trusted to make decisions. They are given responsibility and they are allowed to use their skills and judgment. Empowerment helps people meet higher level needs, such as esteem needs and self-actualization, as explained in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In simple words, empowerment means giving people authority so they feel valuable, confident, and motivated. Why empowerment is important? Empowerment is important in order to increase the motivation, to build confidence, encourages accountability, and to help people grow and develop. People feel more satisfied when they are trusted and involved in decision-making. This slide explains the key elements of empowerment in an organization. Empowerment means giving employees information, skills, authority, and rewards so they can contribute meaningfully to organizational goals. There are 5 main elements. Number 1, information about company performance. Employees receive information about how the company is performing. This helps them understand the organization's goal, challenges, and results. In simple words, employees know what is happening in the organization. Number 2, knowledge and skills. Employees are given training, knowledge, and skills needed to contribute effectively. In simple words, employees are equipped to do their jobs well. Number 3, power to make decisions. Employees are trusted with the authority to make substantive decisions related to their work. In simple words, employees are allowed to decide, not just follow instructions. Number 4, understanding the meaning and impact of their jobs. Employees understand why their work matters and how it affects the organization's success. In simple words, employees know the purpose of their work. Number 5, rewards based on company performance. Employees are rewarded according to company's performance, not only personal achievement. In simple words, when the organization does well, employees benefit too. So the key point for you to remember here is that empowerment increases motivation, responsibility, commitment, and job satisfaction. This diagram shows how empowerment increases gradually in an organization. It also shows that higher empowerment requires higher employee skills. On the left side, empowerment moves from low to high. At the bottom, fewer skills are needed. At the top, many and more complex skills are required. Low level of empowerment. At this level, employees have no decision-making power. They attend periodic briefings and they mainly receive instructions. In simple words, employees listen but do not decide. Next, on the moderate level of empowerment. At this level, employees join suggestions program. They give inputs and ideas. They join participation groups and they participate in decision making, but do not decide alone. In simple words, employees are consulted and involved. High level of empowerment. At this level, employees make decisions. They work in quality groups, they join cross-functional teams, and they are part of self-directed teams, practice self-management, and are responsible for decision processes and strategies. This level requires high skills, experience, and knowledge. In simple words, employees take full responsibility and manage their own work. So the key idea for you to understand here is that empowerment increases step by step. The higher the empowerment, the higher the skills required. Organizations must train and trust employees before giving full empowerment. These slides explains employee engagement teams and how organizations give meaning to work through engagement. Employees' engagement refers to the level of commitment, involvement, and enthusiasm employees have towards their work and organization. When employees are engaged, they feel their work is meaningful, they take ownership of their task, and they contribute beyond minimum requirements. Giving meaning to work through engagement helps employees to see why their work matters and how their contribution affects organizational success. This creates motivation, satisfactions, and loyalty. Other approaches to employee engagement. So there are several ways organizations increase engagement. Number 1, employee ownership. Employees feel a sense of ownership in the organization, which increases responsibility and commitment. In simple words, employees feel like the organization belongs to them too. Number 2 is profit sharing. Employees receive a share of the organization's profits. In simple words, when the company does well, employees benefit. Number 3, pay for knowledge. Employees are rewarded for learning new skills or gaining additional knowledge. In simple words, learning more leads to a better rewards. Number 4, pay for performance. Employees are rewarded based on their individual or team performance. In simple words, better performance means equals rewards, equals better rewards. Number 5 is on the job enrichment. Jobs are redesigned to be more meaningful and challenging. This includes more responsibility, variety in tasks, and opportunities for growth. Here, the work becomes more interesting and fulfilling. So the key point for you to remember here is that employee engagement teams focus on meaningful work, fair rewards, and growth opportunity. Highly engaged employees are more motivated, productive, and satisfied. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on our next topic.